Thank you all for sticking around. Welcome. So today I'm going to talk about building a blockchain community, a little different from the other talks. Given that the Nervos Network is launched, and blockchains are very hard to change once they're running. A big part of the project now is about how do we create a healthy community. And my name is Matt. So I used to work with dinosaurs, building financial systems. I got really interested in Bitcoin. Got really interested in Ethereum. Started a meetup here in San Francisco. I was one of the co-founders of this space, and I got interested in Nervos late 2018, looking at kind of what the project was seeking to do, and reading some of the stuff from the team. So I've been helping out for a while now. I do some documentations on community stuff. And I think on a long journey like the one that we're on in crypto, it can be hard to kind of like remember why we're doing this, why are we interested, what are we doing here. So I think it pays to look back, way back into the 2000s and how we got here. And it all started with these words, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. So this is the genesis block of Bitcoin, and forever kind of set us on this journey. And Satoshi had a really astute observation. He said the root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. So we have to trust that the government's not going to overprint currency. We have to trust that banks are going to lend responsibly. And we also have to trust that banks are going to keep our personal info private.
Matt,
Yeah.
you're on battery.
Oh, do we have a charger?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just falling asleep. It's a long day. Thank you. So 2008, I don't know what magazine this was, but they declared that trust is collapsing in America. So this is well before Donald Trump. This is well before fake news. This is even before the scope of the financial crisis was known. And, trust was already collapsing. We can see, looking back at public trust in the government of the United States, this has been falling since the 50s. And it's not just the U.S., it's also happening in other OECD countries as well. And it's not just governments. This is a chart of how many people are losing faith in financial institutions. And it's about half the people. And these are not the only institutions that people are losing trust in. It's kind of across the board. People are losing trust in institutions. And we probably don't need to mention CNN or Facebook. But what we have now is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin tells us to don't trust, to verify. But the truth is, this slide is screwed up. The truth is, trust is really important. So trust is an intrinsic part of human nature, and there's also an inverse relationship between trust in a society and the amount of crime, corruption, and cost of doing business. Usually when people in a society trust each other, it kind of just makes everything work better. And back in the Stone Age of the 20th century, we had these institutions like, religions, institutions of faith. And people, found common ground in these places, or these places, AA, the Rotary Club. But society is kind of being upended by religion. MIT finds that the internet is taking away our religion. As more people use the internet, less people go to church. And it shows up in other places of our lives too, or even our entertainment at this point is segmented. Like if you watch Netflix and I watch Disney Plus, we don't even know what shows anyone else is even watching anymore. It's something as simple as TV is fragmented. And we can look at social media and how fragmented these things are. And we've come back to trust being really important, important in our society. And blockchains have this special property to create trust. This is an article in The Economist, I think in 2015, that blockchains would create this trust. And I think in these communities, when we come together, we have another unique opportunity to create trust, because similar to this, which is a church, we have this, which is this room. This is a crypto meetup. And I think people are coming to these events for similar reasons. They want to connect with others, they want to better themselves, they want to better the world around them. And these groups continue to grow. And to me, it's fascinating that millions of people would sign up for a group about Bitcoin. And it's good that we have so much interest, because the bar for blockchain has been set pretty high. And people have declared that blockchain will fix basically everything. I don't want to try to come up with a witty thing to say, but blockchain will combat bias in news reporting. And if we look at things like this, which is from the World Economic Forum, I think we need good information about what blockchains are, what they can do, and like a strong community around education, because this is the vision for a blockchain banking engineer in 2030, which is just like the guy on a jet ski that's fixing a node in the ocean. It's nonsense. It has nothing to do with kind of like the reality. And I always like to ask the question of why. So, why is it important that we have these strong communities and we really have people that are educated and understand how the systems work? And I think we can look at the example of AI. So there was a study that found nearly 40% of false matches by some Amazon image recognition was people of color. And these are solutions that are being sold to law enforcement agencies to find people who should be arrested. And I think when we look at money, this has the possibility to be even more impactful in people's lives than just image recognition. Money is a matter of life and death for some people. Medical bills, distribution of resources, who gets locked out of certain platforms. I think if anyone's ever been stranded on vacation without any access to money, I think you learn very quickly what happens when financial systems don't work. And even if we look at these characteristics of transparent, immutable, permissionless, unstoppable, in the right hands, used very elegantly, these can be beautiful things. And if they're used poorly, like they can be the means of oppression. And if we look at Libra, we can see how quickly things can change. I think everyone from regulators to just crypto enthusiasts felt when Libra was announced that things can change very quickly. And with that, I'll bring it back to communities. So this is your traditional top-down company, which is actually a pyramid if you flip it. And this is something to me that kind of looks like a community. So there's people kind of gathered around the center. There's a lot of people out on the outskirts, but there's no kind of structure to this all. People are not in a hierarchy. They'll kind of gravitate around who they feel is most effective. And the people in the center are leaders that are maintaining lots of relationships and are looking to help people. So most people that are, especially closer to the middle of this, are motivated by more than just financial gain, and there's really no ladder to climb in all of this. And I feel like when I see things like this that highlights all the different companies that have been created in blockchain, it's cool to see such growth, but I feel like it's in some ways not really describing the reality. Like this looks like something that McKinsey puts out to describe an industry, whereas when I look at crypto communities, it's very much more like this, where you have people that are coming together to work on projects, and maybe they produce something, maybe they don't, then they kind of move apart, more people will come in. And I think it becomes clear that communities are not companies, and we have different rules. There's no corporate structure in these communities. Communities can morph. People really can't be fired from communities. They can be exiled and start their own communities, but it's a very different setup from a company. And I think the best example I can see is like comparing Coca-Cola to Bitcoin. Anybody wanted to manufacture a Coca-Cola t-shirt, like, probably wouldn't get very far without them suing you out of your existence. Whereas, Bitcoin you could. There's nobody that's going to come to sue you for making a Bitcoin shirt. And we saw that Bitcoin was kind of remixed into Ethereum. We saw Bitcoin remixed into Bitcoin Cash. We saw Ethereum remixed into Ethereum Classic. And there's nobody around to kind of stop this process from happening or give approval. And it creates a different kind of competition. So it's not so much a race anymore. This is more of a marketplace of ideas. And it's driven by relationships. And it creates this wonderful place for us to share information and to kind of work together. And I think this is best demonstrated in these Bitcoin forks where, there's no one around to stop anyone from forking Bitcoin, creating their own project, things like that. And there's no one in charge to kind of like force anyone to do anything. And this can create a bit of a challenge. So as people are changing projects and kind of like following the cash and following the best ideas, it's really unclear who's in charge, who's making up the rules. And from a centralized perspective, this community doesn't make all that much sense. And I think that's been one of the biggest challenges. But I do think culture is very important, and especially in a place where no one is around to enforce these rules, and accepted behavior kind of like are the norms that we don't share. And keeping an open door is important. People naturally want to contribute, be a part of this, and help each other. And meetups like this are important for creating these connections that eventually become projects and companies, things like that. I also also think it's important to really appreciate the challenge that we are all kind of operating in and to get an idea of the landscape. And it's not something that we're really forced to change things. And being a great person is important. So I think helping each other and learning from one another, these communities are very personal, and this can be a very powerful thing in time. So I think it's important for us to all kind of hang in there. I think the challenge or the scope of blockchain, what's been laid out is like the vision is huge, maybe arguably impossible. And I think we will have to kind of be kind to ourselves and continue on the journey. Because I think at times we can kind of comprehend why we're doing this, but it can be lost kind of keeping it in mind. I think financial challenges are still there. I think there was a question about Web 2 versus Web 3. I think the clearest difference to me is like how do you get a job in it? Web 2 is very straightforward, just apply. And if you're a new college grad or if you're a senior engineer, you'll get a job. Whereas here is much more touch and go how you can have a job working in crypto. I think that this is a foundation. So companies start, people get jobs, new groups will form. I think it's important for everyone to connect right now. And with that, I want to talk to you about Nervos for anyone who's heard of Nervos, who knows? All right, got some hands, great. I'm doing my job. All right. So Nervos is a blockchain to store common knowledge, so that means not just money. And an example of common knowledge is a green light or a stoplight. Like we all know what a green light is. We all know what everyone else is going to do when they see a green light. And that allows our society to function more efficiently. So we can see a similar thing in Bitcoin where we all know all of the transactions, we all know all of the balances, and that allows us to treat Bitcoin as money and to trust what the ledger says. Nervos seeks to generalize this and allow this blockchain to store any sort of information for us to have trust and to be the foundation of larger systems and protocols. They're not just about money. And Nervos makes the ambitious decision to stick with proof of work, and it's the only smart contract platform that I'm aware of that is secured by proof of work instead of proof of stake. And there's great support in the mining communities for this ambitious idea. And part of doing this is forcing a layered architecture. So similar to Bitcoin, Nervos is a small layer 1, which forces scaling at layer 2. And the layer 1 is very flexible. It supports any sort of layer 2 protocols, and also you can store arbitrary data there. And layer 2s would be things like sidechains, channels, roll-ups, and all sorts of exciting new technology on that front. And the Nervos virtual machine, CKPVM, is really just a digital abstraction of a physical chip. And this low-level architecture provides the ability to support VMs on top of the Nervos VM, or the CKPVM. So this allows for support for a variety of programming languages, so you're not restricted to, say, just Solidity. There's JavaScript support that's been deployed on testnet, people currently working on contracts in Ruby and Rust. This also allows for the usage of standard toolchains like GCC to compile contracts. The economic model of CKB is meant to emulate that of Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, that makes the block rewards more valuable, which incentivizes miners to put more hardware into mining those blocks. So that increases security. So on Nervos, a similar thing. The CK byte tokens are required to store data on chain. So as the security of the platform goes up, that should make the platform more attractive for storing assets and keeps a stable economic system. And I think an important thing in this community context with Nervos is that because of the low-level nature of the virtual machine, it lends itself well to interoperability and being kind of a bridge between chains. And I think, in my personal view, that becomes, in some ways, being a bridge between communities. We're all working on similar problems. We're all operating in the same, context. We're all in the same kind of cryptographic toolbox that we're all pulling from and trying to create new things out of. And I think it's been shown in the work. So Fork It is a podcast by the co-founders of Nervos from a while back. It just kind of talks about general blockchain issues. RustCon Asia and Rust and Blockchain are organized by a member of the Nervos community. We did a RISC-V meetup. This is a RISC-V based virtual machine. We also have hosted future of Layer 2 events. So this is all part of kind of building bridges between communities and connecting the broader community. So the Nervos blockchain is live. The block time ranges between like 7 to 10 seconds, which is the fastest POW chain that we're aware of. And we're about hundreds of thousands of blocks. And we just announced the ecosystem grants program, so I think this goes a long way as well to bringing more people into the community. And we're working on Bitcoin UTXO program, of course. The goal of this project is to be completely decentralized and